Welcome to Keeping Up with Clermont, a regular update on things happening within the city. We'll highlight a city department, provide some safety tips, explore a local business, and learn about Clermont's history.
Welcome to the City of Clermont Station 1. My name is Haley Wheeler. I'm the Fire and Life Safety Educator for Clermont, and this is Sparky the Fire Dog. Each year, the National Fire Prevention Association collects data used to track a number of fires in the United States to determine the campaign message for Fire Prevention Week. Sparky, can you guess what the leading cause of home fires is? That's right, cooking. More importantly, unattended cooking. That is why this year's campaign is Cooking Safety Starts With You. Pay attention to fire prevention. The good news is you can help prevent these fires from happening through some very simple tips. First tip, 1, you need to stay awake, stay alert. If you are feeling drowsy, if you have been drinking alcohol or taking medications that might make you drowsy, that is not the time to be cooking. Stay in the kitchen when you are frying foods. Don't use water on any grease fires either. If you are simmering or boiling anything, make sure you set a timer so you don't forget that you have something on the stove. Keep anything that catches fire, like oven mitts and wooden utensils, far enough away from the stove that they won't catch on fire. Have a kid-free and pet-free zone around the stove in hot areas, at least 3 feet to be safe. That's right. If there is an oven fire, keep the door closed and leave immediately. If you have a fire, a pot fire, just put a lid over it to smother it. If it does not smother quickly, again, don't delay, exit, and call 911. For some great resources on fire safety, check out nfpa.org or sparky.org for you and your family. And of course, your Clermont Fire Department is always available to help you with your fire and life safety needs. Everyone, be safe and remember, pay attention to fire prevention.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Malcolm Draper with the Clermont Police Department's Traffic Safety Division.
And I'm Sergeant Erin Razzo with the Community Services Division. Today, we would like to talk to you about pedestrian safety.
As the holidays approach and cooler weather arrives, you'll begin to see more foot traffic on our sidewalks and parking lots.
Here are some tips to help ensure that you are walking safely and driving safely.
For pedestrians, walk on sidewalks whenever they are available. If one isn't available, walk facing traffic and as far from traffic as possible.
Pay attention and keep alert at all times. Avoid wearing headphones so that you can hear the traffic and pedestrians around you. Never text or look at your cell phone when crossing the street.
Whenever possible, cross streets at crosswalks or intersections where drivers expect pedestrians, and look for cars in all directions, including those turning. If neither are available, locate a well-lit area where you have the best view of traffic. Wait for a gap in traffic that allows enough time to cross safely, and watch for traffic as you cross.
Watch for cars entering and exiting driveways or backing up in parking lots.
Be visible at all times. Wear bright colored clothing during the day and wear reflective materials or use a flashlight at night. Never assume a driver sees you. Make eye contact with drivers as they approach to make sure you are seen.
For motorists, look out for pedestrians everywhere, at all times. Use caution when driving in hard-to-see conditions such as nighttime and bad weather.
Slow down and be prepared to stop when turning or otherwise entering a crosswalk. Never pass vehicles stopped at a crosswalk. There may be people crossing that you can't see.
Yield to pedestrians in crosswalks and stop well back from the crosswalk to give other vehicles an opportunity to see and stop for the crossing pedestrians.
Follow the speed limit, especially around people in the street. Yield to pedestrians and crosswalks and stop well back from the crosswalk to give other vehicles an opportunity to see the crossing pedestrians so they can stop too.
As drivers, you have to be prepared to slow or stop at any time for emergency vehicles, buses, bicyclists, animals, and other motorists slowing to turn, and other situations.
Be extra cautious when backing up. Pedestrians can move into your path.
Here are some tips for trick-or-treaters. Cross the street corners, use traffic signals, and crosswalks. Look left and right and then left again when crossing, and keep looking as you cross.
Put your phones down, keep your heads up, and walk. Don't run across the street.
Teach children to make eye contact with drivers before crossing in front of them.
Always walk on sidewalks or paths. If there are no sidewalks, walk facing traffic as far to the left as possible. Children should walk on direct routes with the fewest street crossings.
Watch for cars that are turning or backing up. Teach children to never dart into the street or cross between parked cars.
Join kids under age 12 for trick-or-treating. If kids are mature enough to be out without supervision, tell them to stick to familiar areas that are well lit and trick-or-treat in groups.
Decorate costumes and bags with reflective tape or stickers, and if possible, choose light colors.
Have kids carry glow sticks or flashlights to help them see and be seen by drivers.
Choose face paint and makeup whenever possible instead of masks, which can obstruct a child's vision.
Remember, popular trick-or-treating hours are 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Be especially alert for kids during those hours.
Here's to a safe and happy holiday season.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Tom English. I'm a board member at Pig on the Pond. On behalf of the City of Clermont and Publix, I'd like to invite you to our 25th annual event for Pig on the Pond. It's going to be this year from October 13th through 15th. Please feel free to come out this year and support our event, and I can practically guarantee you that you're going to have fun. The pig races are returning. We're going to have a silent disco. Your children can paint murals. We have live entertainment. Just lots of things for people to do, and we raise money for our deserving students in our South Lake area so that they can realize the dream of education. Cheryl Fischel was our original event planner. Sadly, we lost her in 2019, but it's really her that was primarily responsible for, gosh, I think about it over the years, she probably put more smiles on people's faces and helped to educate so many kids. Her heart was so strong with that mission, and we miss her dearly. We invite you, of course, to share your memories at info@pigonthepond.org. And at this point, I'd like to give just a special thanks to the city for being such a great partner for all these years.
Welcome back to the Clermont Historic Village. I'm standing in front of the Cooper Memorial Library. Most of you probably know the modern Cooper, which is on the campus of Lake Sumter State College here in Clermont, but this is the very first one. Well, they rounded up $600 and built this structure, and when Mrs. Cooper died, her heir went to the library and said, look, I know you're leasing it for a small sum, but if you name the library in honor of my mother, I will give you the land outright. And so it became the Cooper Memorial Library in perpetuity. The inside of the library has all kinds of artifacts, papers, photographs, all of which pertaining to Clermont, and all very interesting and well worth a look. Let's go see what's going on inside. So we have filing cabinets full of old papers, old documents. We have a whole bunch of old yearbooks from local schools. We have an original plat book, which shows all the properties in Clermont. all kinds of esoteric and wonderful things, all relating to the history of Clermont.
Good morning. I'm Donna DeGennaro, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some things that can be found in the Cooper Memorial Library at Clermont's Historic Village. This library was built in 1919, and it is, so it's 100 years old. I'm standing on 100-year-old floorboards, and it was used well up into the 1980s. So this has a really long history in Clermont. What we have done with it is we have made it into a museum that houses items that would have been used by people living here during the lifetime of this library. And the first thing I want to talk to you about is a typewriter. Showing a typewriter to a bunch of 10-year-olds has to be one of the most enjoyable things that I do. They are fascinated. They're fascinated by the fact that there is dirty, messy ribbon that does the printing. They're fascinated by the fact that the keyboard is pretty much exactly the same keyboard that they see on their computers and tablets. They love the sounds. They love the fact that you have to turn it and send it flying across, that you have to stop at the end of each line. And when I talk about what you have to do to make a correction, they cannot believe their ears. We have 2 typewriters in here, one at each end, and probably the hardest thing we do is to keep them from trying to type on it and jamming the keys. If you are my age, you remember jamming the keys. And then after I talk to them about the typewriter, I like to talk to them about telephones. They love telephones. They all have telephones in their pockets. When I'm talking to them, I say, now we're going to talk about telephones. Half of them pull their phones out of their back pocket. Well, when I show them the early phones, they cannot believe their eyes. This is a coffin telephone. Yes, coffin, as in put bodies in it, because it looks like a coffin. And it hung on the wall. And in order to talk on it, you had a separate piece that you held to your ear. Sorry, ours is disconnected. You hold that to your ear to hear what's being said, and then you talk into the speaker, which is on the wall. And if you're short, you have to get on your tiptoes or have a little stool right by the phone to talk on the phone. Everybody had the same phone who was rich enough to have a phone. They had the same phone, and your phone rang every time everybody got a phone call, because there weren't that many people with phones. So everybody had their own distinct ring, and you had to listen for whatever your ring was, 3 long, 1 short, whatever it might be. And you had to respect everybody else's privacy. You couldn't listen in on other people's phone calls. That was called a party line. And party lines existed well into the 1950s. After the coffin phone, we got the candlestick phone. It had the same basic setup, 2 separate pieces that you talked into. And sometimes in old black and white movies, you still see people talking on these. And they're actually kind of pretty, and some people think they're kind of sexy looking. But they didn't have the same bell tone system. You had your own ring, and it was a rotary phone. And trying to get kids to figure out how to work a rotary dial is an amazing thing. It is very important for our younger generation to know where we came from. If we don't understand our history, the good and the bad, we are destined for difficulties. We have to learn from the past to prepare for the future. And this room does that in very many, many ways. Thank you.
So be sure to come down and see us. We're open every Saturday from 1 to 4 and every Sunday from 1 to 4. And it's always free, although we do enjoy donations. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Keeping Up with Clermont. You can visit clermontfl.gov for more details or send an email to info@clermontfl.org. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, and have fun.